SNY Studios here in Midtown with breaking news on the New York Jets. Just moments ago, they announced that they have cut quarterback Mark Sanchez and they have signed free agent quarterback Michael Vick to a one-year deal. So the Jets now get an opportunity to free up $8.3 million in cap space in their cutting of Sanchez and, of course, bringing in Vick now to compete with Geno Smith to be the starter or potentially his backup. Vick last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of people had made the comment that he has really become an excellent teammate and a good certainly influence on Nick Foles, their quarterback now, and they cut him loose. So now Vick is a New York Jet. And we welcome in from ESPN New York, Rich Cimini, who, of course, covers the Jets brilliantly day in and day out. And, Rich, we were all expecting Sanchez to get cut. That was coming sooner or later. But with Vick signing, are you a little bit surprised that he opted to come here when there might have been better opportunities at earning a starting job elsewhere?
Yeah, I think this was his best opportunity because you saw in the last 24 hours the Houston Texans getting Ryan Fitzpatrick and then the Raiders completing a deal for Matt Schaub. So the starting possibilities really, that market was shrinking rapidly. And I think the Jets were the only team where he could have a legitimate chance to start. Now, I don't know. I think they're going to bill this as an open competition, although I think the clear preference is that Geno Smith would be the guy. But Smith, Vick has to think that he'd have a pretty good chance at some point of stepping into the role if Geno Smith falters.
Do you think ultimately this being that best opportunity for Vick was the difference, or do you factor in Marty Mornhinweg, who obviously has a relationship with, all of the other things that could work in his favor here?
Yeah, Marty Mornhinweg is key here. I don't think this deal happens without him for two reasons. One, it gave the Jets, as John Idzik termed it yesterday, some inside knowledge on Michael Vick. When you sign a player who's, let's face it, has been a polarizing player in the league with some off-the-field issues, obviously in jail with involvement in the dogfighting, you want to have some insider knowledge, and Marty Mornhinweg was with him for 4 years, and that helped the Jets. And then on the other side, for Michael Vick, I think it gave him some comfort in knowing that he won't have to learn a completely new offense. He knows this offense. When you're at his stage of his career, you don't want to have to start from scratch. And so he steps in. It should be a seamless transition, at least from an X's and O's standpoint. From
the Jets' standpoint of bringing him in, you said the preference is clearly that they want Geno Smith to be the guy. So that would indicate they'd be more than comfortable with Vick being comfortable himself as a backup quarterback, true?
Yes, I'm sure when they sat down with Michael, they explained to him exactly what they were what this job description would entail, and they wanted to find out if he'd be okay with sitting behind a second-year quarterback. And I don't want to put words in his mouth because we're not going to be able to talk to him for about another hour or so, but I'm assuming he's okay with that. They are giving him $5 million, which is not bad. If for being a back, if he is in fact a backup, that's a pretty good rate for a backup quarterback. So I think this is a good move for the Jets because they needed that Geno insurance, so to speak, because they didn't have it last year. And this upgrades the quarterback position. I think he'll be a good teammate. I think he'll be able to help Geno on and off the field. And I think it's a good move.
All right, Rich, before we let you go, Mark Sanchez being cut, put his Jet career into perspective for us.
A career filled with some extreme highs and some crushing lows. I mean, to make the championship game in his first two seasons as a quarterback, my God, you thought this guy's future here was going to be limitless. Just a franchise-type quarterback. He had the personality, the charisma, but things just started to deteriorate. And the bottom, the low point, of course, was the butt fumble, which will live in infamy. 2012 Thanksgiving night against New England, and to me that kind of frames his career. The two championship games, and then the butt fumble, and then losing his job, and then last year being just basically hung out to dry with that preseason game, sending him into the fourth quarter and getting injured, which turned out to be his final play as a New York Jet.
Rich, we appreciate the time and appreciate the insight. Thanks very much for spending a couple of minutes with us.